The reason why I started this talk is because there is a regular occurrence at Speaker's Corner where the police are turning a blind eye to the fact that non-Muslims are being assaulted by members of the Muslim community here at Speaker's Corner, and the police are doing nothing. The establishment is ballless, spineless cowards, and they are the ones that govern the police, and that is why Tan has been assaulted twice in Speaker's Corner, no arrest by the police. It's why Sarah received a death threat, no arrest by the police. It's why Christopher was assaulted at Speaker's Corner, no arrest by the police. This guy thinks that anyone who criticises Islam or points out the misdemeanours or misbehaviours of the Islamic Dawah team in Speaker's Corner suddenly is guilty of a thought crime. And that is the logic of the left-wing militant. That is the logic that the Muslims are using to intimidate the liberal establishment in this country. Did anyone hear me say that all Muslims were paedophiles? You didn't hear me say that, did you? No, you didn't. Did anyone? Put your hand up if you heard me say all Muslims are paedophiles. Put your hand up. Did you hear me say that? Even the questioner doesn't do it.
Killers then?
Not all Muslims.
No. Yes, say so
I don't
clearly.
need to say that.
Why
That's
not
not
then?
what we're talking about.
Okay,
we're talking about why the media in Britain is terrified of upsetting Muslims because some will kill them.
You're trying to spin it into some kind of Islamophobia.
Look at Charlie Hebdo.
So when you think that, you presume Muslims are killers.
Not all Muslims. What you're trying to change the argument,
why
are
do you
you?
keep trying to spin it?
Yes, you are.
You're telling us that the society, the government, everything favors Muslims by fearing. They have fear from Muslims.
So the point is,
I didn't know that.
The liberal establishment,
The
are
establishment
so
fear
terrified of jihadi violence, of Islamist violence, because the establishment, the liberal establishment, does not truly in its heart believe that if push came to shove, that the majority of Muslims would side against the jihadis, that they seek not to create any confrontation with the Muslim community, and so instead they create double standards in the way that we are policed, double standards in the way that we are judged in the courts, double standards in the way that we are presented in the media, double standards in the way that they talk about facts. I'll give you an example. In Rotherham, a city in the north of England, 1,400 children.
The Muslims start jeering. Did you notice that when he brings
up? You should be condemning what Muslims did. You should be condemning what those Muslims did. Instead, you're jeering. Me pointing out.
I didn't expect that from you. I think sometimes you talk sense.
Those children were raped by Muslim gangs. And what did the police do? What did the police do?
Listen,
I'll tell you what they did. I'll give you an example. One example. There was a 13-year-old girl found in an upper room, naked and drunk, with another underage child, and 7 Asian Muslims were in that room with her.
Pakistani Muslims, they weren't Asian. Don't use the word Asian.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry,
that's disrespectful
you're right.
to Japanese,
Indians,
Thai,
yes, you're
Chinese.
quite right. I apologise. Good correction. Good correction. Good correction. So Pakistani Sunni Muslims were found with those 2 girls. Who did the police arrest? Did they arrest the people raping the children? No. They arrested the 2 girls and charged them with drunken disorderly.
Is this a hate?
Another example. No, it's not. It's not hate
How
speech.
is this hate
How
speech
is
talking
it
about
hate speech?
paedophilia?
How is
this hate
Then
speech?
talk about the American, the doctor, the Olympics.
Notice the Muslim is outraged
1,400 girls in one
criticising
town.
the weakness of
1,400
the British
girls in
establishment
one
because he
town.
benefits from it. Rather than condemning the
Exactly.
actions and the double standards,
Condemn
yes, I do.
the others as
Absolutely.
well.
For the record, I condemn any Catholic priest that has ever.
Why is that your
touched a
first
child
question?
inappropriately.
Bizarre.
Yeah,
Why
it
is that
bizarre.
your
It
first
is
question?
bizarre.
Because
Crazy.
you are saying the Muslims only do this.
No, I haven't said that.
At what point did he say that? At what point did he say
That's
that?
the only point he's
But
making.
notice how the Muslims seek to
you've got to
use
make 100 points in one
Islamophobia to shield from the truth.
Exactly.
The establishment is ballless, spineless cowards, and they are the ones that govern the police, and that is why Tan has been assaulted twice in Speaker's Corner, no arrest by the police. It's why Sarah received a death threat, no arrest by the police. It's why Christopher was assaulted at Speaker's Corner, no arrest by the
Punch
police.
people
If
off
you were
ladders,
listening,
kick people
I'm
in the back,
criticising
threaten
the
them with
police
death.
and the establishment,
We're not
the
making this
Muslim
up.
community as a whole. You're
And he's
using
laughing.
Islamophobia
And he's
to
still
damn
laughing.
The Muslims.
You are the terrible people.
Girls in one town, whether it's town.
in a way
This man
that
is laughing.
intimidates
Oh my God.
liberal, left-leaning, left-wing types in our establishment. So what's the answer? If the police
What
are
is
not
the
going
answer?
to protect us, if the establishment are going
What
to
is
rule
the
us by
answer?
double standards, I'll give you another double
What is the
standard.
answer, Bob?
On November the 11th, a few years ago, some radical Muslims burnt a poppy. This insulted the entire country. On Armistice Day, during
Yes,
the
they
2-minute
were.
silence.
Andrew Chowdhury and most of them were
They
were
got
Pakistani.
arrested and were
Andrew
charged by
Chowdhury's
the courts
Pakistani, isn't he?
£50 fine. In retaliation,
Yes, he is.
some nationalist radicals
Saiful Islam, I think he might
burnt
be.
one photocopy
Trevor
page
Brooks
of the
is,
Quran.
he's Jamaican.
The courts fined that man £300. So what we have is a double standard in the way that we're being
And
policed.
listen to these poor little
double
victims.
standard
Listen to these
in
poor
the way
little
that we're being
victims.
judged by the courts. A double standard in with the way that the
I
media
am
is
deadly
dealing with the
serious.
report.
As is
I'll give
he
you
is.
another example. In Glasgow,
You fame
a
seeker.
British
Come on.
museum
You do, come on.
placed a holy Bible in a
I've
vat
been
of
coming here.
piss
I've been coming
and
here
called
way
it
before anyone
art.
videoed.
They had another
Way
Bible
before people
and
started
encouraged
videoing.
people to graffiti
So
over
what
the
are you talking
pages.
nonsense then?
Now, can you imagine any British museum allowing the Quran to be treated the same way? Probably not, no. What is that indicating? It is
Double
indicating
standards.
that there is double standards running through our society. Now, this brother, I'm not criticising Islam or the Muslims. I understand that it is normal to take advantage of any situation where it benefits you. It's the most human thing in the world to do.
We agree that the Muslims are the most demonized people in the media.
No, not at all.
can you say that?
Not at all. Because what we have... No, no.
The fact that the BBC describes them
Let
as
me deal with this
Asian,
brother's
how's
point.
that for you?
Let me
The fact
deal
that
with
the
this brother's
BBC
point.
and all mainstream media
So,
describe them as Asian
this
wouldn't
brother-
dare use the Muslim
No,
word.
this brother has
Wouldn't dare
raised an
use the
interesting
Muslim
point.
word. They call
He
them
says-
Asians.
He says that the British media portrays Muslims as terrorists. Actually, that's not true. Demonized as terrorists. It's not true. Every time, every single time there has been an attack in this country or anywhere else, the British media, the British establishment are the first to come out and say these people that committed this terrorist attack were not real Muslims.
Mentally ill,
That they were
usually.
mentally ill,
Which is a
or
disgrace
that
to
they
the
were
mentally ill.
corrupting Islam.
Which is a disgrace
no,
to
they
the
are not
genuinely
being demonized.
mentally ill.
By contrast, hold on one second.
What about,
By
right?
contrast, the same British media, let's use Channel 4 as an example, who, whenever there's a terrorist attack, say that these are not real Muslims, went and did an assassination piece on Catholics describing Catholics as extremists because they opposed abortion. So when a Catholic keeps to their faith and opposes abortion, they're an extremist. When a Muslim carries out a terrorist attack, they are not a true Muslim. So what we have is a double standard in the way that the British media is operating. And quite frankly, the question... Go on, explain. What's the double standard? What's the double standard? If Speaker's Corner hates, you know you can be filmed here.
What about when a Muslim, right, who commits a crime, the first thing that comes up is, in the media is, Muslim commits this crime. Right? Muslim does this, Muslim does this. Why is his name not being mentioned?
Give me an example.
There's so many examples.
So shall we use what happened in Rotherham?
I can't see one.
Okay, let's use what happened in Rotherham. Let's use that.
Or Oxford,
because he's
or
right.
Lincoln, or...
He's right. The British media did say that they were Muslim, and then when they were criticised for doing so, they changed the label from Muslim to Asian. Now that's an insult to Christian Asians, to Hindu Asians, to Sikh Asians, to atheist Asians, and any kind of other Asian, including the fact that they weren't all Asian from India or Bangladesh. It was one group that raped those children.
So you mean if
And
you're
there's
a Muslim,
pattern
you're a
of it across
paedophile
the
then?
northern-
That's
You
why
see,
that's
here
what
we
your
go.
argument is.
Here we
No,
go.
it's not.
This is the time
No,
to
it's not.
spin.
You're hearing
Make it
something
clear.
different.
Make it clear.
Why?
We have it on camera.
Huh?
Why?
We have it on
You're
camera.
making it look
Did
like that.
anyone
You're making
hear
it
me
sound
say
like
your
that.
head?
that
Your
all
head.
Muslims were paedophiles? You
a
didn't
simple
hear me
question.
say that, did you? No, you didn't. Did anyone? Put your hand up if you heard me say all Muslims are paedophiles. Put your hand up. Did you hear me say that? Even the questioner doesn't do it. Even the questioner doesn't do it.
It was so
And that
funny.
is the way that they work.
It was very
And that is
funny.
the way that the left wing of this country works.
Why?
If you talk about facts, if you talk about truths,
get insulted
the
by
left
ignorance.
wing people,
Such
the
as your
establishment,
words.
and their Muslim Islamic Dawah
Anybody
team,
with
militantia,
common sense knows.
will go
He
and
is
try to
arguing
spin
that Muslims
that
are
you're
much
guilty
more
of
favoured.
some kind of thought crime.
Saying the opposite.
Why did I start this talk? Everyone who was here at the beginning knows, some of you weren't here. The reason why I started this talk is because there is a regular occurrence at Speaker's Corner where the police are turning a blind eye to the fact that non-Muslims are being assaulted by members of the Muslim community here at Speaker's
Weekly, on a
Corner,
weekly
and the
basis.
police are doing nothing. Nothing. Tan was assaulted, Christopher was assaulted, Jay Smith was assaulted, Hatun Tash was assaulted. How many people have to be... JC was assaulted. How many people have
Jesus
to be
Christ.
assaulted?
There's a group of
Jesus
Many,
Christ.
many of these people, their assaults are caught on camera, and our so-called
on
police
YouTube.
force don't do anything. Don't do a thing.
I've been assaulted.
Go on,
as
tell
well.
me.
As a Muslim, I've been assaulted.
Who by?
By Tan.
By Thai. Okay.
Yeah, he spat in my face.
Right, and that's assault.
It's assault, yeah.
It is assault.
That's what I say.
Okay.
So don't say only Christians are being assaulted.
Was
or
it caught
other
on
Muslims are
camera?
being assaulted.
Was it caught on camera?
you need
Was
a
the policeman
Okay.
standing next
So-
to you?
So this just
Was the policeman standing
just
next to
shows
you when
the
it
fact
happened?
that the establishment
No.
in this country completely have a weak basis on which we're being governed. Now you've been assaulted, fair enough. I only have your word for it. I've not seen it on camera. I have seen Tan's assault. Hold
What
on.
do you mean by
I
this?
saw Tan's assault on camera. I know Sarah received an Osman warning. He had the video. He had it
Let's say why.
recorded
Okay, Bob, let's
in
say
the
why.
police
Let's say
station.
why. First of all, let's speak about Tan, right? Tan, he's being very provocative in the park, right?
So that justifies
Hold
it.
on. No, I'm not saying this is right. But what I'm trying to say is, right, Tan, right? He pokes people and pokes people, right? And then when he gets a reaction, he's a victim. I'm a victim now. Or you guys are terrorists.
So you are trying to justify it then?
I'm not justifying it.
You are trying to
If you're
justify
being
it.
very provocative, he's telling you what's happened. Someone, give him poking it, and you get a
Listen,
reaction.
tell us the
Don't be a
bottom
victim.
line.
So
Tell
he's
us the
trying
bottom
to
line.
justify
What
it.
is the problem?
Everyone
What
is
is
here
tell
and
us.
you're trying to
So what's
justify
happening
assault.
now?
Violent Muslim.
The fact
So
of
what
the
should be
matter
done
is,
then?
the
Police
fact
should
of the
deal with
matter
it like
is,
they've started to do today.
the fact of the matter
these
is,
Muslims are
if-
violent, they
if
should
we
be kicked
cannot
out.
look
Many
to
that
the
come
state
here,
to
why the
defend us,
government is not
what
doing it?
can we
Let's
do?
speak- That's Bob's question.
What can we do?
That's Bob's question.
If we can't look to
What
the
shall we do
state
then?
to
Together.
behave in a good way, what can we do? I don't have an answer. I'm merely asking a question.
Revolution.
Revolution?
I'm with you.
Is that what you're saying? To establish what?
We're maybe giving you an idea.
No, you're telling us to let's do something.
To
What?
establish a
Tell us
caliphate?
what.
No, I'm not saying. I'm asking a question.
Look how they changed
I'm
from
asking a
revolution
question.
I'm a Muslim, turning into Caliphate.
No, he's asking.
I'm asking you.
You
You're
are so
asking me a question. I'm asking
sneaky.
you a
You're
question.
so dishonest. You're so
I am
dishonest.
dishonest. What have I said that's
I
dishonest?
asked him about
Tell
something
me.
and he mentioned Caliphate.
Do you want to establish a caliphate?
Wallah, listen.
asking you.
Yeah, okay. Everybody knows what you said, but Allah knows what's in your heart.
I'm asking
Wallah,
you.
He will punish us.
I'm asking
You are dishonest.
Why don't you want to
You are
answer the
dishonest.
question?
No, I'm not.
Answer the question.
You were talking about how
Show
Muslim.
me one lie.
Okay, wait.
Tell me one lie.
Can I talk? Can I talk?
By the way, what tie did you
Can I
choose
talk?
on?
Can I talk?
Totally wrong.
What lies?
You should run for
Can I
Prime
say
Minister,
something?
And we vote
Yeah.
for you.
Okay. You were saying that there are some Muslims who does violent, who approach aggressive towards another members of who talk here,
Yep.
non-Muslims, and I think you mean that those Muslims who are angry or are violent, the police should do something, yeah?
Yeah.
So when I was saying what shall we do now, I agree with you. You said revolution. I said okay.
didn't say
No.
revolution. I didn't say revolution.
Okay.
I
I
did
said
not say
okay.
revolution. I didn't say revolution.
Okay. That's fine. That's fine. I didn't. When I said let's do something and let's lose some revolution, it means let's get together, do something. And then you mentioned Caliphate. Why?
You
I
said
didn't
revolution.
mean. Yes, I
Your
know.
mind
I know.
went to violence. Mine didn't. You did.
So now you're portraying I'm a violent person.
What is revolution?
Has every revolution been violent?
Revolution is revolution of words.
Oh, a revolution.
Revolution of action.
War of the spirit.
In political discourse, it is commonly understood that a revolution is a call to violence. So, let me give you.
See how dishonest you are.
Let me give you some
Wallah Azim,
examples.
you're a dishonest person.
Let me give you
I
some
was
examples
talking
of what
about
you can
justice,
do.
So let's do
So,
something. You
I'm
went
going to tell you
Caliphate,
now.
You went to
We
violence.
heard
Just because I'm a Muslim.
heard what the Muslims
Wallahi,
suggested.
you're a liar.
We heard what
Allah knows what's in your
Get
heart.
on
I
fire.
don't want to
The
talk.
Muslims are heckling. So here we go.
Get it on
So,
video. Get it on video.
So here we go. Thank you. Straight out of the 3-year-old's heckling book. This guy really
Oh, no camels.
So,
No
okay.
camels allowed.
So
No camels.
the answer to the question that was asked by the man.
No camels.
The answer to the question that was asked by the man. What can we do? One second. Is what can we do? So I'll tell you what you can do. I'll tell you what you can do. I'm going to answer his question.
People who will watch this.
You don't want me to answer the question.
You are a liar.
They don't want me to answer the
You are a
question.
hate preacher.
They don't want me to answer the
hate
question.
preacher.
They don't want me to answer the question.
You preach hate in that
Here's
sense.
what you can do. One, you can stop voting in parties that are not the establishment. Two, you can stop paying the BBC TV license. Three, you can stop buying the establishment lamestream media and you can go to other forms of media. Four, you can form groups legally,
We're not listening.
that will allow you to establish security in your
We're
communities.
not listening.
We have them all over the place. Bouncers on doorstops. In Golders
You're a
Green,
very
for
silly
example,
boy.
the Jewish community have organised a little group that goes around neighbourhood watches.
Shouldn't you be at home doing
You
your
can
homework?
form groups to help
You're back at school.
to do what the police are not doing.
So you're for you, Jewish
Two, you can use. I got no problem with Jewish people. Are you against Jewish people? So why do you ask the question?
Say wanker to me.
The question was, are you for the Jewish people? Let's just change that moniker Jew and replace it with the word, are you for black people? Does that sound a little racist?
Is it because you is
Are you
black?
for Muslims? Are you for Christians?
Are you a twang?
Does it sound a little racist when he says, are you for Jews? It does, doesn't it? If I say, are you for black people, people would think, hey, this white guy might be having a bit of a racist problem. A Muslim says, are you for Jews? Are you?
Why
Are
don't
you?
you like Muslims?
Okay. What? Sorry?
Why don't you like Muslims?
I don't have any problem with Muslims.
You do. You
Okay.
do.
Let me ask you. He says that I got a problem with Muslims.
No, you've got a mental
He says
problem.
I got a problem with
No,
Muslims.
I said you're mental.
So let's be clear. I got no problem with Muslims except for the ones that cause trouble. Those are the ones that I've got a problem with. I've had friends who are Muslims. I've had girlfriends who are Muslims.
McDonald
I
Trump.
got no
I
issue
got
with
no
Muslims.
trouble with the
I
blacks.
got no issue with Muslims.
Have you got
I'm
lots of
quite happy
Muslims?
to make friends with Muslims.
Why do all
I'm
the
quite happy
Muslims
to
think
work
you're
with
a
Muslims.
wanker?
This guy thinks that anyone who criticizes Islam or points out the misdemeanors or misbehaviors of the Islamic Dawah team in Speaker's Corner suddenly is guilty of a thought crime. And that is the logic of the left-wing militant. That is the logic that the Muslims are using to intimidate the liberal establishment in
Are
this
you a member
country.
of the establishment?
If you want to
Are you a
change
member of the
the establishment,
Are you a
you
member of the
don't need to
establishment?
support them. There are ways that you can work within the law
Yes.
to change the establishment
Are
that is
those-
not
are those
revolutionary,
ways available
that is
on
based
Google?
upon reform. Reform based within a legal system.
Do you
That's
like-
what I'm
do you
advocating.
like the
That's
sound of
what I
your own
believe in.
voice?
You what?
Do you like the sound of your own
What's
voice?
your name, brother?
My name
Yeah.
is David.
David.
Yes.
David, I no more like the sound of my own voice than you do yours.
I think you rather like the sound of your voice.
It does sound good. I've often been told I've got a voice for radio.
But why haven't you been told you're a wanker?
Well, you've just told me.
So why
Thanks
don't,
for sharing.
why
God
don't you
bless
take
you.
it on board?
Well, because I
Time
think
for medicine. It's time for your medicine.
Why don't you take it on board? Why
Sorry?
don't you take it on board?
oh, I do, but then I filter it, and I think
what
about
do you
myself.
filter it with?
So, tell me, what do you think that you've achieved by calling me a wanker?
Because
What have you achieved?
I want you.
Don't you?
I'm human, mate.
Well, so you are a wanker.
So,
Because I think your ego took flight some years ago and never landed.
and where's yours?
What do you mean?
What is called?
He'll tell you I'm one of the most modest men he's ever met.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
You can't believe it because
No, I don't believe it.
because you're an immodest twat.
Okay, apparently I'm an immodest twat and a wanker. Is there anyone that actually wants to talk and have a serious conversation?
Yes, about you being an immodest wanker and a twat.
Okay, so well, we were talking about the double standards by which we're being governed and policed. And I do have a point.
He's a bit of a lefty.
And let's be fair, me and him have clashed in the past, and if he's saying that I've got a point, it's because I'm talking about something that
So
everyone
let me
can
see,
see.
you're judging your standards by him now.
No, I'm just pointing out that if your enemies agree with you, then that means
We're not enemies.
polemically. If your enemies agree with you, then it means that you're talking about
He's
something
not
real.
your enemy, he just thinks you're a wanker.
No, I think you think I'm a wanker.
No, we know you're
Anyway,
a wanker. The pair of
I've
us
done
know.
now. Thank you very much for listening.
You were done a long time ago.
Get a cup of tea and go home.
No, not really. Do you see how the left are triggered when you point out their double
I
standards?
thought you were leaving, you wanker.
So, this is what happens when the left wing is triggered. Let's talk about some other double standards.
But I'm a
Triggered
right-
lefties,
but
like
I'm
a
right-
feminist
but I'm a
at
right
an abortion rally,
I
anti-abortion
thought
rally.
you were leaving.
So, don't touch me. I'm
you
not
were
touching
leaving.
you. Don't
I
touch me.
thought you were leaving.
So,
did you
Let's
say?
talk. Let's
Did you say you were
Let's
leaving?
talk about some other double standards of the left
Did
wing.
you say you were leaving?
The other double
Did you
standards
say
of the
you were
left wing.
leaving? Did you say you were
The
leaving?
left wing
Did
bleed
you
on
say you were
about
leaving?
Palestine. Do you know how they
You
bleed on
said
about
you were
Palestine?
leaving.
All the time.
You said you were leaving.
But do these same left wingers talk about the occupation of northern Cyprus? No,
I thought you
they
were
don't.
leaving. I thought you were leaving.
If Tan
thought you were
or
leaving.
anyone
I thought you were
criticizes
leaving. I thought you were
Islam,
leaving.
they're called an Islamophobe.
I thought you were
But if
leaving.
these same
I
people
thought you were leaving.
go on to
I thought
criticize
you were leaving.
the Catholic
I
Church
thought you were leaving.
or
I
Christianity,
thought you were leaving.
they're not called
I
Christophobes.
thought you were leaving.
Do you see how the left wing is triggered? Do you see how the left wing is triggered? Because they're a group of people that don't think by logic. They think by emotion.
You're a wanker.
This is the left wing for you in this country. Ad hominem attack, no reasonable debate. This is the lack of intelligence that dominates our country. We all saw how Britain, America and France got involved in Libya to stop mass murder. But those same people allowed Kosovan Albanians to commit mass murder against Serbian Christians. They didn't do a damn thing to stop it. They They didn't do a damn thing to stop when Christians were being butchered in South Sudan by jihadist militants called the Janjaweed. They didn't do a damn thing. When 2 million Christians were killed over 18 years. But yet, these same liberal elites say how great they are because they interfered in Kosovo when Serbians defended themselves from Islamists who were killing Serbian Christians. That doesn't justify. It doesn't justify what the Serbs did.
I am a Christian, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm a Christian. Now, the thing is, what they did, the NATO in Serbia, they did a well done. God bless them and Jesus bless them for what they did.
What did they do?
They
illegally invaded a country.
Sorry, which country?
Serbia.
Which Serbia? Kosovo was
Serbia.
90% Albanian.
You don't know. No.
I'm sorry.
That's
Kosovo
like saying. That's like saying because
And
Wales
actually,
is 90% Gaelic, it's a different country from the United Kingdom. It doesn't make sense. It's not logical.
Yeah, because he's a liar. That's why I'm saying he's a liar.
Part of Serbia, and yet the Islamic Dawah team talk about the illegal occupation of Palestine, but yet everyone is silent about the illegal occupation of Serbia and northern Cyprus. Double standards by the commie left. Cultural Marxism at its best.
Yes, because the world is full of communists.
Triggered feminist here, triggered feminist.
No.
Triggered
The
feminist.
world is full of communists, isn't it?
Let's talk about another left-wing double standard. We all heard about the Black Lives Matter movement in America. Why does this Black Lives Matter movement not care about the black lives in South Sudan? Or the black lives that are dying in, what's the other area in Sudan that's been butchered? I can't remember. Darfur, thank you very much. The black lives, left-wingers are not caring about those black lives. They don't care about the black lives that are being kept as slaves in Libya. Oh no, because really to the left, black lives don't matter. They only matter if they're American or British or European. They don't give a damn about black lives. They are virtue signaling hypocrites all. All lives matter. All lives matter. White, black, yellow, whatever color.
You're just criticizing the left and talking against the left. So you're right, I believe.
No, I'm a Christian.
Okay, because you're just talking about criticizing. What is your solution?
Would you feel happier if I
What is
criticized
your
the right?
solution? I just feel happy if you give solutions, not criticizing.
Okay,
just
so
solutions.
you want
mate.
solutions?
Solutions.
I'll tell you what the solution needs to be.
It's all about
Notice the Muslim is trying to put words into my mouth. For him. For him, Muslims. I'll correct him, no, that is not the solution. Though many on the right wing might think so. That is not the solution. Certainly kill ISIS and those that have fought for ISIS. What? No, I don't think all Muslims are bad.
Okay, do you think Islam is good?
No, I don't think Islam
There
is
we
good.
go then.
Right, and this is the logic of the Islamic Dawah team. If you don't think Islam is good, you must think all Muslims are bad. I don't agree with that. I know good Muslims. I've met good Muslims. I know there are good Muslims.
Jesus loves you.
Criticizing Islam is not equivalent to generalizing about Muslims.
You said it right.
Don't worry, Jesus loves you.
Listen, you said it right.
We may
Kill
hate
people
you,
who fought for
but
ISIS,
Jesus
right?
loves
What?
you.
You said kill people who fought for ISIS, yeah?
Death by drone, yes.
So what happened to love thy neighbor as a Christian? What happened?
Okay, so he's asking about love thy neighbor. Let me answer that
He's a
question.
born-again Christian.
Let me answer that
He's
question.
fucked up.
Let me answer that
What
question.
does he know about anything?
Jihadists who have chosen to fight for Islamic jihad,
You're a little baby
ISIS
Christian.
in the Middle East have committed themselves to the sword, and Christ said, those who live by the sword die by the sword. Christ said, and the apostles teach, that when we love, why do you not want to listen? You asked a question, you don't want to listen to the answer. So listen to the answer, then don't interrupt. Christ said that you should love your brothers and sisters. He said you should love God with all your heart, mind, soul and strength. You should love your father and mother. You should love your enemies. Therefore, when we have a conflict between those loves, so taking ISIS as our example, we should love our enemies. That means loving ISIS. But we are also obliged to love those in the house of faith. So when ISIS are killing Christians, raping Christians, taking them as slaves, it is a moral duty of Christians to fight ISIS. The just war principle is a Christian concept. Our religion is not pacifist. We don't teach pacifism.
Who made ISIS?
Now, what I find funny is that the Muslim Dawah team and the left-wingers are insulted by the idea that we should fight ISIS. Isn't that strange? Isn't that strange?